Hello and welcome to our reviews. Today we'll be reviewing the McFarlane Toys Kiss Alive box set. So yeah, I never thought I'd actually be reviewing this set, but finally one day I decided to crack it open and see how everything in it worked. And yeah, it takes a long time to get all this stuff out of the box and to get the stage put together. There's quite a lot of stuff in here. Being a McFarlane related thing, of course the detail on them are all very nice and the articulation's all really crap. But it looks really nice. It comes with a stage and all sorts of drum set stuff. And everyone has their instruments and everything like that. It's got lights, no sounds or anything like that. But it's still pretty cool. So yeah, let's just get right in there and look at all the articulation and details and special bits and everything like that. Alright, let's start with the figures themselves. First off, we have Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, Peter Criss, and Gene Simmons here. As you can probably tell, they're pretty much pre-posed, but they do actually all have articulation, just most of it's not very useful. We'll be going down the line and looking at all the details on them and their articulation, and then we'll be moving on to more musical bits of them. Alright, let's start with Gene. As you can see, he's got his hair up here, tied up a bit at the top there. He's got his makeup. I'll zoom in on the head and everything in a minute. He's got spikes all the way on his arms and down here on the legs. The wing cape, bat wing stuff that he's got, that's rubbery, as is the piece that grows across his chest. Everything else up here is exposed skin. He's got his hands in some guitar playing poses and a guitar pick in this hand. For the most part just black overall, lots of spikes and studs and things, which are certainly Kiss's trademark. Let's zoom in on the head really quick. Alright, here's Gene's face. You can see he's got his tongue sticking out and his trademark face paint design on there. For the most part, it's just white and black and tongue, and that's really all there is in terms of detail there. Let's zoom out and look at the articulation. Alright, Gene Simmons has a cut up here at the neck, but there's really no way to get it to move. He has a cut there at the bicep on both sides, but they don't move very well either. He does have a wrist cut that actually moves well, and a waist cut that moves pretty well. He's got some cuts up here at the upper hip that make those go that way, and some cuts down here at the boot. And so, yeah, nothing but cut joints, and some of them don't even really move that well. But they give him a bit of a variation in posing. You can swing him around at the waist or something like that. But for the most part, they're just going to be posed the way they came. Alright, let's move on to someone else. Alright, here we have Peter Criss. As you can see, he is pretty much pre-posed to be sitting down at his drum set, and you're not going to be able to get him to do anything else. Overall, he's mostly black clothing. Not really very many studs, but there are some tiny ones. He's got on some silver bracers there on the wrists, silver shoulder pads, and they actually have little bits of furry-like stuff coming out of them. That is actually a real fiber. The drumsticks are molded into his hands, so they won't be coming out. And he's got his big platform boots on down there. And that's pretty much it for his outfit. Let's zoom in on his head really quick. Alright, you can see his makeup there. Not really much else to look at. Also see his cross necklace down there on his chest. So yeah, let's look at his articulation. Alright, articulation-wise, he does seem to have a cut at the head, but it doesn't move very well. He's actually got hinge here at the shoulders. Nothing in the wrist. He's got a waist cut. And he's got boot cuts. And that's pretty much it. For the most part, you're just going to be changing what level of height his arms are at. That's about the only useful thing he can do, but he is the only one that doesn't have nothing but cut joints, so that's useful. Anyway, let's move on to someone else. Alright, here we have Paul Stanley, who is leaning backwards and holding his guitar pick up in the air. See his hair up here. He's got a very exposed chest covered with hair, and stars all over his spandex outfit. Big platform shoes, also covered in stars. He's got bracers with little feathers on them. And that's pretty much it. He actually will stand up, surprisingly, even in that really odd position. Let's zoom in on his face really quick. Alright, you can see the white face there. He's got like yellow eyes, black star there, and some lip paint. And that's pretty much it. Let's zoom out and look at his articulation. Alright, his arms have cuts on them, and if you turn that one down, that's really the only way you're going to be able to see that tattoo of a rose that he has there on his shoulder. Both of his wrists will rotate. And his shoes will rotate, and that is practically it for him. He's got cuts at both shoulders, wrists, and shoes. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, let's move on to our last member. Alright, here we have Ace Frehley. He's got these big circular things here on his shoulders that are a bit softer material. Most of his outfit is black. He's got some little studs there. Big silver platform shoes. And he's sort of looking upward and holding his guitar whenever he happens to have it in his hands. So let's zoom in on his face really quick. So yeah, there it is. Silver around the eyes. Darker mouth color, not quite black though. And his eyes are closed. Pretty much it for the head sculpt there. Let's zoom out and look at his articulation. Alright, articulation-wise, he will turn at the shoulder there, at the wrists. And he feels like he's got some boot articulation, but I think mine might be stuck. And that is pretty much it. He doesn't even have a waist cut that seems to function or anything like that. So, yeah, I think that wraps it up for all the peoples. Let's move on to the accessories. Alright, everyone comes with their guitar or bass. Here is Paul Stanley's, and here's Gene Simmons' bass, and there is Ace Frehley's. So, yeah, they all come with flexible rubber straps with some stud-like bits on them. They're all fairly nicely detailed and look like guitars. Not really much else to say, so let's move on to the drum bits. Alright, I'm going to try to quickly move through all this drum set stuff, because there's lots of it. And then I'll show you it all put together at the end. Here's two of the big front-like drums with KISS written on the front of them. Alright, here is two other size drums here. Here is a smaller than those drums drum. If you can't tell, I don't know anything about drums, but there are lots of them. And here is a two drum having drum. So yeah, those are all the actual drum bits. And there is a wide array of cymbals. All these cymbals are relatively the same, except they're at different heights. And here are the other two cymbals. This one has a foot pedal, and it's like that cymbal that bashes together. And this one over here has a little tiny cymbal above the regular cymbal. So yeah, lots of cymbals and drums that I can't tell you anything about, apart from that they're cymbals and drums. There are two foot pedal things here for the big drums, I assume. And then lastly, there is a stool for Peter Criss to sit on while he plays this enormous amount of various percussion instruments. So yeah, that's pretty much all for the drum-related stuff. There's one more accessory, and then we can look at the stage itself. Lastly, there is a little black candelabra, which has some candles on fire at the top of it, and some little curly designs on it, and it's just a thin piece of black plastic for the most part. So yeah, let's look at the actual stage now. Alright, here's the stage itself. It's mostly white, it's got a few cracks and stuff in it, and lots of peg holes for the pegs that you can put into the figure's feet and then peg into here, or put into the bottom of the drums and then peg into there. I did not put those in there because, I'm going to be putting this back up after I get done with it. I didn't see any point in wasting time with that. But if you're going to be setting it up, you'll be wanting to do that. Got the floor down here, and then a raised piece here for the drum set. It's got some big rafter-like things here. You do have to put all this together. You have to snap the three pieces of the rafters together and attach them to this and plug this cord back in here into the back of the base. So you can hook the lights up here up. And these lights are functional. I'm turn it on real quick just so you can see. They do flash random colors. Red, yellow, and green, I believe. And just kind of flash. And they'll stop in a minute. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the stage. I think maybe at one point they intended to put sound in it, because there is a speaker hole on the bottom, but it doesn't actually seem to make any noise. And the box doesn't say that it makes sound. So, can't really say too much about that. Anyway, it certainly looks good all set up. Let's go ahead and show that. Alright, here's what everything looks like set up. It's kind of a pain to get together, and I've just kind of got all those symbols strewn around back there, and they're not necessarily where they're supposed to be. But you can get the basic idea of what it'll look like set up. And of course, if you were doing this for a permanent display, you'd probably want to use all the pegs and put everything exactly where it's supposed to be. But for the most part, this is what it shall look like. Alright, here's a demonstration of the lights while I've got everything set up. They look pretty cool. Flash random colors and stuff. Light up really nicely on the symbols and things. Alright, we've only got one thing left to look at, the packaging. It does come in this very large box. KISS Alive limited edition set features stage, instruments, and lighting. You got the 4 face paint designs over here, ages 13 and up. On the side, you got some pictures of the figures. On the back, you've got some close-ups of all the face sculpts and some pictures of the figures some more. Little description there. Pretty much it. Very nice, large box. Displays all the figures here on the front. and then all the other guff is like in the background and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Certainly good for in-package display, as that's how I display it. Much easier than having lots of stuff sitting around everywhere. But yeah, Kiss Alive. Alright, that wraps it up for the Kiss Alive box set, so until next time, I command you to kneel before the God of Thunder. Hello, you've just watched one of my videos. Feel free to like and comment and subscribe and all those sorts of things if you enjoyed my video. If you didn't, run away and never return. Also, feel free to check out my other channels, Venom Raptor for all my variety gaming content, and VR Reviews for reviews of various action figures and collectibles. Thank you, and goodbye.